Hoo-ah! Ha ha, fam. How you like that, fam? You like that little fam? Hoo-ah! Yeah. Welcome back
Did
to
you
the
send me the Rumble link?
I did not, because I'm slacking today, and what do I want to tell you? My mind's on my mom Christmas, and I know now
Sam, listen.
Christmas has got
Okay,
nothing to do, so
we're working. Okay, I understand. Your mind's on Christmas, but Christmas is still how many days? It's still 6 days away. It's not Christmas right now. Don't give me the slacker. Okay, it's Christmas. No, Christmas is in 6 days.
Do you hear this
Okay,
shit?
some of us are working on Christmas. Some of us are working. Okay, so don't give me that.
Well, let me see if I can find you, because lately Twitter has been ridiculous, hardly to find you. You put in Fiorella and it's just like ridiculous, fam. Talk about getting censored and stuff. I thought that with Lord Elon, we were supposed to be like all free and stuff like that now. But I mean, your shit has gotten worse. But once again, I sent you the Rumble link in Twitter. I'm sure, fam, they're going to just use this as an excuse and, say, well, it's Russian shit. So they're going to justify it because the people are cool with it. That even though we've proven that, anything with the whole fucking Russian disinformation, right? Doesn't make a difference. And even still, which we'll go over once we go over the Lord Elon stuff, that they even still try to pin Elon's little trip to Qatar as being pro-Russian friendly. I mean, they get ridiculous with this shit. It's almost out of hand. Guys, do us a favor. If you're on Rockfin, that means you are a premium member, and we love the fact that you are there. Do us a favor, share that link. If anybody can afford to, for an extra $14.99 a month, we'd love you to be a premium subscriber to our channel on Rockfin, which is advertisement free stuff that they even still try to. That's me echoing. Hoo-ah! But what we'll do is next month, Rockfin is supposed to have a feature where we can have an individual subscriber base. In other words, you can subscribe for a low price directly to us. We are going to work that out next month at the beginning of the new year. We will have that handled, hopefully. But if you want to watch it for free, of course, you can go on over to our Rumble. I'm going to get the link and put it in the chat. What's up, Fred Edwards? He's holding it down over there, as always. So we love him. Vicky Lynn. Fam, you don't even know about Vicky Lynn. I know you're jealous of Vicky Lynn. Because,
Yeah.
Vicky Lynn got me to dress up like a cowboy, and, so.
I am so jealous.
I know you're jealous of Vicky Lynn.
So jealous. So jealous.
So I shared the Rumble, guys. Do us a favor. If you can, go ahead and share that Rumble link. Let's get that out there. We won't put anything behind the paywall. We'll always have a place where you can watch it for free. But unfortunately, Rockfin is all set up that only you make money if you're premium subscribers and people are watching premium content. So Rockfin is going to be that place for all you convo couchers. Fam, did we decide couch potatoes? What do we say?
No, that was not what was decided. Trey Wright could tell you that was definitely not what was decided. I don't know why.
I think that won.
No, it didn't.
Where's Trey Wright? Somebody get Trey Wright on the horn.
Trey Wright can tell you what was decided. It was nothing like that.
What was it then?
The combo fam or something. The combo couch fam or
couch potato fams?
Nothing potato. If they're literally, I hate couch potatoes. I hate that. I hate people who sit and watch TV all day. I would never give us a nickname that has anything to do with that. Like I would quit.
Fam, I don't know about this because Johnny had a great idea to have us characters of Mr. Potato Heads. Like I'm a potato head. Potato head
is no longer with the combo couch, so whatever he said doesn't apply.
Well, he's here in spirit.
Yeah, but he's alive. He's not dead. Anyway, can we get started because we do have a guest coming in, and I told the guest to come a little bit later because I knew you would get off topic and start talking about something
listen
else.
How this it's my fault because I am off topic now, guys. Do you see this? I am the fall guy. I am to feed
Joe Biden.
I am to feed what China is to the populist right.
No,
fall guy.
No, the populist right doesn't have a reason to be anti-China, but I have a reason to say what I say.
Fam, by the way,
we'll let the fams decide.
I don't know if you see this. I got a new refurbished laptop. So I went PC this time out, but yeah, fam, That's going to be my little new thing
Mm.
when I'm doing shows from mom's house in Florida. So that's what's going on. So
Great.
Friday, are we going to take the day off? Is that decided, or do you want to do something on Friday? You still might do something on Friday, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you can take the day off. I will give Pasta the day off on
yes.
Friday, guys. I probably won't take the day off, but I'll give him the day off. Let's just leave it at that.
That's the bomb dropping, fam. Can I ask you a question?
No, I'm just trying
Who gives a shit about the fucking marmot?
The dude is back here, fam. The dude abides. The dude abides. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but let's get right into this because I think this is like kind of a little funny. Now the internet's acting all wonky over here. Would you come on? Trying to pull up the tweet.
All right. So you have this section, right, Elon? Did he actually, though? He didn't really call it quits, though.
No. I'll show you the tweet he made, but he did say he's going to abide by the rules. He said he says whatever you guys decide, I will live with the results. And the results were that he should step down. Now he already had said, fam, that he was going to step down. So I think it's a little fugazi-ish what he's doing.
Yeah.
He didn't say he was going to step down. He said he was going to hire a CEO or get a CEO. That was some of the conversation. Why isn't my goddamn Twitter working now?
Okay, so while you get that figured out, or at least take a picture or whatever you want to do, Elon Musk to me has been conducting a social experiment. I think what Elon Musk is doing is really smart because most people are falling for it. There's nothing that's going to be released by somebody like Elon Musk that isn't okayed by very powerful people like the State Department, like the CIA, like the national security state apparatus and its little sectors. Why? Well, because Elon Musk is funded and has direct ties to the military industrial complex ad nauseum. Whitney Webb has talked about this. So has Vanessa Beeley. So has Alan McLeod from Mint Press. So I have a lot of people. I mean, this is nothing new. What we're seeing released from the Twitter files, I'm not against it being released because I think it's good that things get released, but it's not anything that we didn't know or suspect. Even the FBI interference on Twitter, the FBI said they would do that. If you read the documents released by the Department of Homeland Security, they literally tell you. The problem is people don't read these documents. So to a lot of people, it's like news. They're like, oh my God, Twitter, the FBI is involved on Twitter. Yes, they have been for a long time. This, like, I'm really kind of, I knew people didn't know a lot, but I mean, I'm just kind of like depressed that it's this bad that people really had no idea that the FBI was involved in a social media giant like Twitter. If you have a social media giant like that has access to your information and is basically conducting these social experiments via, like, in an attempt to data mine you, what makes you think that the FBI, which is a domestic arm, right, to the national security state, it's like what the CIA is internally, right? And so what makes you think that's not going to happen? Like, this is well known. The thing is, I think people are so desperate to find a solution to what's going on, to think that something might be done, that they're clinging to every possibility. And I've been extremely disappointed with a lot of people who have been praising Elon Musk like he's some sort of like guy that's going to abide and just do good and become this Batman. And I think it's a very US American way of thinking. Now, did you get this working?
Yeah, here it is.
Okay.
You see it up there? So
yeah.
Okay, so, and fam, this is great. Let's break all this down because we need to talk about this. First off, I just want to say that your disappointment is understandable, and so is mine. However, I think it's the whole thing where, people should just beat up all the time. They keep moving back, and they just want things to stop. So when they take a step forward, right, they're still so far behind the eight ball. We've been taking it time and time again. The whole, let's just get back to normal. What the fuck is normal anymore? When the normal sucked, we had a bad situation now. And so, they see things happen, over and over. And I've heard people say more than anything, at least it's not the shit libs running Twitter again, where this whole woke identity and culture shit is just pushed, and anybody who has opposing views is thrown out. I said,
Are
yeah,
you
but now
serious?
this is what somebody said to me, and I was like,
Yeah, but
no.
he's literally banning people who annoy him. He's literally taking down accounts who like say something against him, who put up he took down accounts that put a picture of him next to somebody. I forget who it was. He's been taking a lot of accounts down. He'll put a lot of them back up.
Yeah.
But it's very childish, and it's the same thing. And if you think Elon Musk is running Twitter, you're very naive. Elon Musk has not really been running Twitter. He's like the face of Twitter. He's not running things. It's like thinking that Joe Biden is running the United States. You have to understand that with such a big company, with so much power, somebody like Elon Musk isn't going to be running shit. People think he invented Tesla. He didn't invent the technology. He bought it. That like people don't know the history of who Elon Musk is, and I think that's also part of it. Like they're applying all the stuff, and like so many people with big platforms like him.com have been propping him up, and it just kind of does a disservice to, like, he said something today like, oh man, you're the number one target of the deep state.
Who
Like
said that?
you can't Kim.com. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if you
No,
can
Kim-
find it.
Kim
I
is-
think
Kim has been ridiculous, like, praising him like this is the greatest thing, this information from since God knows how long. Listen, it's a little ridiculous right now, and they're hearing the people, oh please Elon, don't quit, because as you know, if you don't know, Elon put up a poll and saying, should I resign, should I step down, and he lost. People said, yeah, you're out, gone. Which it's not letting me load. It's weird, but I'm going to try it again. But this is something I want to talk about right here, because even though people keep praising Elon, and they're praising him based on the conditions that were there beforehand, where they took down all the doctors, when they took down Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter's not back yet, by the way.
no.
Garland Nixon's back. The Last American Vagabond's back. But there's still people out there. Dr. McCullough is back. They're not back there. So people are basing this about what was, you know what I'm saying? Not what should be. And that's the thing, is what should be.
Right.
If he was really about gaining the trust of the public and really showing what's what, he would have released everything. He would have released how they do everything, how information is lifted up and how information is suppressed. How do they put people in there in the recommended fees? How do people get looped in? All this information should be open source, so we can see, and we can really understand. Because when he says that leftists didn't get censored, that's a lie. People didn't get censored based upon left or right, and that's the thing that really pissed me off. They got censored based upon issue, topic. If you were talking about elections, okay, and there's leftists out there, that don't think the election system is the best, so we were censored.
It's fraudulent.
Yes. So
that think it's fraudulent.
The DHS says that we had the most fair and clear, transparent election of all time.
Yeah.
Putting it out there, disclaimer. But I mean, it was based, if you're COVID issues, and there's leftists who didn't believe in big pharma, who didn't believe in the government that was they had the best interest in hand, so they censored you. So it's a lie to say that it was left versus right. But if you do want to talk left versus right, and you want to talk about fucking professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, this picture right here should say it all. That is Elon Musk with Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's guy, right? Okay, Donald Trump's person. The last picture that Ye put up on Twitter was a picture of Elon Musk getting sprayed in the back of the head by Ari Emanuel, the Clinton Jesuit, the Obama person. It's professional wrestling. He's playing both sides. He's all over it. Here he is with Kushner, right? Mr. Zionist over there. And then before, he was over there with Ari Emanuel. Guys, they're playing you, dude. It's professional wrestling.
I mean, it's so clear. I really think we almost have to go back to the basics, and this is the next few projects I want to do. Focus just more on getting the information out, because I think people just don't get it. They still don't get how this works in the United States. The United States is not a republic. It was supposed to be. It's not. It's not a democracy. It's literally like a corporation with a military-industrial complex and a propaganda arm. Literally, that's what it is. That's what it's become. And you can have your ideals about what it was or what it should have been with the Constitution, But all of this goes out the window when you don't have an actual like legislative or real Congress, a real executive branch, a real judicial system running things, when you have these covert agencies that pretty much are running the show here. And I think when you say that, and it's not as simple as saying just the deep state, you have to define what that is, because people still like, there's this idea that the deep state is just George Soros, and it's just not it. Like it's so much more than that. And I think we have to go back to the basics to understand why Elon Musk is who he is and the connections he has. And once you understand the connections he has, then you can't put that aside and think like he's just gonna like be the free speech advocate. And hey, give him the like. You can still have like say, okay, well maybe he'll do something better than the other villain. You know what I mean? Like maybe he'll be the better villain because there are multiple ones, right? But I at least know that, at least understand that that's the reality, rather than think like this is some benevolent hero-esque figure of like this novel that we're in. And Pasta's absolutely right. I mean, they're totally playing people. These people run in the same circles. It's the same thing with Hillary Clinton and even Trump. Like their families have known each other forever. Like these people all go to the same schools. They go to the same they go to each other's weddings. They hang out in the same circles. It's like, it's kind of, it happens naturally, but it's also part of like the system. Like, when, for example, I know a bunch of journalists, we know people who know each other, that sort of thing, because you run in the same circles. Well, think about that in that aspect of these elites or this predator class. They pretty much are protecting each other's interests because their interests are merged. Now, we could argue that it's more nefarious than that, but at the very least, that's the basis of it.
Yeah. Well, he lost the poll. He's supposed to step down, supposedly. Who knows? I mean, I just think it's a little comical, to be honest with you, the way that people are kind of playing into this thing, to think that Elon is there to like really help us out. And people are like, I don't understand it. You guys are supposed to be about free speech. Now we get a little win, and you guys don't even want to accept a win. It's not a win. It's a dupe. It's a dupe. And, he's, screenshots and just showing one side, not showing everything. Danny Haifong said it best. Show us everything. And I've been saying this before. Show us the algorithm. I want to know how information is lifted up and some has put it down. How do they put things in a queue, fam? How do they decide that? You know what I'm saying? You have to show us everything. It should be open source information. There's also a picture of him and Erdogan there, fam. And there was a picture of him with somebody else who's married to a Russian banker. I can't pull it up. The internet's not working for me right now. I'm so sorry. But you know what I'm talking about, fam? He took a picture. No. It's literally not letting me pull this up. Let's just bring in our guest because the internet is acting so wonky for me, fam. You want to introduce our guest?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and introduce our guest. Let me make sure you have the camera. Make sure you have it cammed in well. You had a bunch of stuff here. Okay.
I can't even pull any of it up. Not even letting me.
All right, we'll get back to Elon later, a little bit on the Twitter file 7, but because that's just it's just it's really the FBI is embedded. I think that was 6 actually. 7 is I will bring it up towards the end because there's some COVID stuff we're going to talk about with
Elon. I have it's it's not Twitter's not letting me bring it up, and now I'm trying to click on the Zero Hedge article and it's not letting me bring it up. It's weird. I just tried to click on a different website and it was fine. It's like
maybe use a different browser. But I'll go ahead and introduce our guest. So we've been covering Peru's the US backed coup, right? And I've been talking about it on RT a lot. And we're going to continue talking about it. RT has done a decent job of covering this. Obviously, I am very specific about the information that's gotten out there because a lot of the information initially coming out made it seem like Pedro Castillo was the one that committed this coup, when in reality, he was the one that was couped. And I went on to explain how that's happened. I wrote an article if you want to read it. I'm going to continue adding more stuff. following the story, not just because of the fact that it's Peru, but because we've been there. We saw him get elected. I was at his present when people were excited to have him on board. We saw this as a victory for a Peru that wanted to keep its resources in the country, right? And so to me, it's a very important thing, because what I'm seeing here is very similar to what happened in Bolivia during the before 2019, before there was a coup, where people from the inner regions were rising up and trying to get people like Evo Morales elected, and there was these movements coming in. It was very similar to that. So now we're in Peru that shares very similar terrain, similar culture to Bolivia. You have similar things happening, and this is an opportunity, in spite of how bad it is right now. This is an opportunity for people to take over, like what happened in Bolivia. So we have a guest here. He's a writer, activist, and contributor to Los Ronderos de las Redes, which is the rondero. Pedro Castillo was a rondero, and his Instagram is Paulo da Cruza Legui, and I will spell it out for you guys and see if I can put it in the chat. He's on Twitter as Paulo Cruzalegui, and there he is. And also has the Instagram group Los Ronderos de las Redes and Ronderos at Ronderos Redes. And welcome, Paulo, to the show.
Hi, Fiorella. Hi, Pasta.
Hey guys. Hey Paulo.
So
thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on. So he's in Peru right now. That's what I wanted to bring him on. He's in Peru, and just right off the bat, since you're there and since you're also involved in this activism, and you understand as a Peruvian, you understand the dynamics too. What is the current state of the protests right now, especially since it was announced that Castillo was given an 18-month sentence as of recent?
Well, the struggle against the coup regime is still ongoing. There are peaceful protesters outside of the prison where the ex-president is being held captive at. They are chanting Pedro Castillo, the people are with you. However, just this weekend, there were police raids at the headquarters of left-wing opposition groups in Lima, such as the Nuevo Peru and the Confederación de Comunidades Campesinas. Their leaders and members were targeted by the police for arrest in an attempt to silence dissent. And the observers on the ground over there, who were not permitted to go inside, they blamed the police and undercover officers for planting machetes, schemas, lighters, and nails as evidence of planning to orchestrate violence. So, yeah.
Yeah. Why is this a U.S.-backed coup? Like, what proof do we have that it's a U.S.-backed coup? And what do you think the main reasons why the West wants their grubby little fingers all over Lima?
Well, it's for the natural resources that there were for copper, for gold, but recently discovered lithium. It used to be that it's called the lithium triangle in Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. But it's also discovered at the southernmost points of Peru. But of course, oil is big here in this continent, in this region too. But the U.S. is involved, and I believe so. The U.S. government is involved from the start to the end of Castillo's presidency. Though Castillo looked to the U.S.-led Organization of American States for help when the right-wing majority in Congress undermined his term, the OAS was also secretly against him. But and not just on that, but one day before the coup, U.S. Ambassador to Peru, Lisa Kenna, whose experience comes from the Pentagon and 9 years as a CIA officer, met with the Minister of Defense to impede support for Castillo's enforcement of the dissolvement of Congress. So he did not have the Fuerza Armadas on his side, and leading to Congress to do their third impeachment vacancy, and successfully removing the president.
Let me also ask you, why is this different in Peru right now? What's happening? Because Peru obviously has a history. Probably as a Peruvian, neoliberalism is very strong in Lima, right? But outside of Lima, it's actually the opposite. The chant when Castillo was elected was "Peru no es Lima." Peru isn't just Lima, essentially, what they were saying. And for a long time, the rural communities, the indigenous communities have been completely pushed aside. And there has been a very much anti-them sentiment because they've been connected to, of course, the past of Peru, which with the Shining Path. So there's a very anti-communist sentiment. Now, why is what's happening now with the rural movements coming in via caravans into Lima and pretty much saying that they're with Castillo, with the protesting and the organizing that seems to be spontaneous? Why is this such an important moment in Peru? Have you seen this anything like that happen in Peru in recent times?
This is quite new to me, and it's exciting at the time. I didn't expect that that I was going to be here in Peru, vacationing for in the Amazon region when this coup d'état was happening. But when I was over there in the San Martin and Loreto department, it's the northeast of Peru, and it's part of the La Selva, the Amazon jungle. It's very rural. The people there, they are under extreme poverty. Of course, the United States has their own version of extreme poverty of homeless people in Los Angeles, but their majority of people are part of the informal economy. They have many people begging for money. There's street vendors, and you'll find them very easily vending fruits and snacks quite often, but here in Lima as well. And it's Lima, the capital of Peru, has all the wealth. It has all the opportunities, business opportunities, their education opportunities. My family sends their children to study in Lima. The university is here. Because there's, as I said, not that much opportunities back home. But my part of the region that my family grew up are anti-Castillo. They're has a long history of support of right-wing parties and Fujimorismo, and as well as my Peruvian American family in the United States. But the people in the Andes are more resonating with Castillo. Castillo's from Cajamarca, and he's viewed as a man of the people. He was not a politician when he entered into Lima. He was a campesino, a rondero, and a union leader and a teacher. And this is something that the Lima elite did not like when he got elected. They very much favored Keiko Fujimori to lead this term, this 200th anniversary of Peru's existence. And they have, just this ongoing political coup since he got elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we understand that he's kind of went in there with his back against the wall, right? And we understood it was going to be an uphill battle. But I don't think a lot of people expected, Pedro Castillo to kind of turn his back on the left a little bit, fire his foreign minister within a week to appease the right, hitch his wagon to the OAS somewhat, throw shade at Nicaragua, right? Like everybody's like saying, oh, well, why hasn't Ortega come out and throw some love Castillo's way and condemn the coup? Well, I mean, Pedro Castillo wasn't friendly to Daniel Ortega when he got in. So, I mean, we see all this kind of resistance. But however, we sometimes can step back and say, listen, this government is infested by the West. They have a bunch of NGOs in the country. The CIA is deep in there in the drug trade. Castillo talked about when he was campaigning that, the CIA is pretty much running the drug cartels out of my country over here. So you could say to yourself, we have to step back and give Pedro Castillo some time. However, with everything going on right now and the fact that he did take a step back away from maybe the left and whatnot and try to appease both sides, and we heard a lot of people said that he looked weak, can we be assured that these protests are going to last long enough to get some actual change, to see what we saw in Bolivia, where the indigenous people eventually won against the government? Because, you know, he doesn't have I would say the support that some of the leftist leaders, the pink tide leftist leaders in Latin America do have. So are we going to see these protests come to fruition and actually have a change that we will actually maybe see Castillo released and not serve the term, the sentence he was issued? Was he issued 18 months, fam? I believe was what they wanted to give him. What do you see coming out of these protests? Will they last long or will they end soon?
It's very difficult to predict the future. So we have to look at the past. And Peru is very anti-left. My whole family is anti-left, anti-communist, and they view them as terrorists. And they don't agree with my opinions. I listen to them and see their false point of views of this current situation. But yeah, to get to your question, could you repeat it one more time?
Well, what I was saying, and I know I went the long way around, I was trying to provide some context. The fact is that he doesn't have the support that a lot of populist leaders do have because he turned his back on the left. However, they are out in the streets for him. What I'm saying is that, are they going to continue to stay out in the streets until they get change? Or is it the fact that Pedro Castillo turned his back on the left that might hurt him in the long run?
He said in his letter that only the people can save the people. This is a struggle that we're going to have to rely on the Peruvian people, Peruvian expatriates back in the U.S. and all over the world, to organize around this issue, saying that we are against this U.S.-supported coup d'état. And one more point I wanted to make about the U.S. involvement is that Lisa Kenna was very quick to meet with the new president to show the confidence that you are the right leader and we are legitimizing it. And as you said, the other countries in the region in Latin America, they are against this coup regime. And although that Castillo was not friendly to Nicaragua or wasn't completely socialist, and he was removed from the Peru Libre Party, including the vice president too. Vice President Dina Boluarte at the time, she said that in January 2022, she said that she does not agree with the views of Vladimir Thoron and Peru Libre. The party that she ran under. But yeah, he had his Congress undermining him from day one, trying to stop him from doing any left-wing, anything of an agenda from the left wing, including a constitution to replace the neoliberal 1993 constitution from Alberto Fujimori's time. And so the people know that we're not going to get a new constitution from Dina Boluarte that's going to be positive for the people. That's why they're rallying for behind Castillo once again, as in 2021 when he was running. They remember that the chants were no more poor people in a rich country, and that Lima does not represent the entirety of Peru. Lima is essentially like Washington D.C. and but on the West Coast.
Yeah, and to just add to that, Pasta, I think this is going to be up, like you said, it's up to them. It's up to the people, right? Like, I don't think the protest, it's hard to say that. I don't think they're going to stop. Because the thing is, Peru's not going to get justice through a legislative system because Congress is so corrupt that they can't just for example, Congress, 2 people resigned because of the fact that protesters are getting killed. 2 people resigned recently, and the fact is that they're not the Peruvian people that are protesting they're protesting because they know Congress isn't going to give them justice. So it's kind of like what the United States should be doing, right? People should be out in the streets trying to stop everything because they know that they're not going to get things the electoral way. So that's kind of what's happening in Peru. It's like the people are out there protesting because they know that the Congress is corrupt, so they're not going to get like a real justice via this electoral process. And I think if more people understand that, they would. But you said something, Paolo, that I wanted to point to. You said, it's up to the people, Peruvian expats. Unfortunately, as you may know, most Peruvian expats that live in like Miami and live in all these other countries and stuff, they are essentially neoliberals themselves. I mean, they are the worst, like the worst. If I will say, like, if I go to Miami and there's a Peruvian there, 9 times out of 10 they're like pro, like Coup, they're anti-Castillo, they're neoliberals like to the T. They're just like the worst. So it's like, to me, it's like,
fam?
well, our flight, but in general, like, I've known this my whole life.
Tolima, that was like I was like, fam, what the hell is going on? She goes, yeah, these are all the Keiko Fujimori people on this plane over here, man. They just, I'm like, they were banging on the door as I was in the bathroom, like they were having fights with literally the flight attendants was like, you people need to stop this. I will shut down this plane. No snacks, no services. Sit down. And I was like,
granted,
fam.
We were in a bad airline. It was like, what airline was it? It's like the worst
JetBlue.
airline.
It was JetBlue.
Oh, it was JetBlue?
It was JetBlue.
Oh.
It was just the people on the flight were like, and I was like, this is my first introduction to people from Peru. And then when we got there, I was like, fam, if I got to double mask up to go on to a mall again, I'm going to go crazy. I'm sorry for interrupting. I thought it was just fun.
Well, and no, I just wanted to comment on that, and I guess just ask you too, like, what other than Castillo can't do anything, right? Is there anything his lawyers are doing to try to remedy the situation? It's just so hard in Peru when the justice system is it's up for sale, I guess.
Yes, I definitely think that his court case is going to take a long time, similar to the Christina Kirchner. She's just the day before Castillo was ousted by this legislative coup in Argentina. Kirchner was sentenced for a corruption scandal that she had, barring her from running for president permanently. And so she has to go through this lawfare, court case through that in Argentina before she could run for office and before the next elections. But yeah, in Peru's case, Castillo has to work on his case and to show that the lawfare that is against him. This judiciary coup at the same time a legislative coup, but the legislative coup was a more successful route for them, the Fujimoristas, the corrupt elite in Lima as a whole. He has to debunk every single claim of his family being corrupt and all sorts of.
Yeah, and that's basically what they're accusing him of. Tax evasion, all this other stuff.
Yeah. I'm surprised they ain't got a Me Too situation. Like, he got too close with that big old cowboy hat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll do anything. Like, they'll do anything to smear. And to tell you the truth, this is the thing that just drives me crazy, is that Fee and I have been talking a lot. We went to Brazil, and we've been talking about the Brazilian election, what took place there. All these America First people, all these MAGA people, all the populist right, whatever you want to call themselves, the majority of them too as well, the Steve Bannonites and stuff, they're all about, oh my God, what's going down in Brazil? This is awful. I can't believe it. We keep on going. Look at Peru, guys. If you guys are for freedom, if you guys are for justice, what about Peru? You have CIA handprints all over this for quite some time. History alone will tell you from Alberto Fujimori what's the CIA's role is in there. And then all of a sudden we have, once again, a lady who's worked for the CIA for 9 years shows up to let the new president know that we got your back. I want to ask you a question right now. I saw some very discerning, frightening pictures in Peru of the military taking to the street to quell these protests. Have there been any more reports of this? Because we understand once these guys start getting in the streets, Paulo, they shoot to kill. They don't care. We see this beautiful image right now that's already taken to a painting. Fam, I want it because I want to put it right next to my my plate that we got in Nicaragua. What's our boy's name? Our homeboy's name?
Sandino.
Sandino. I want to have a picture of the lady from Peru on the tarmac throwing the rock with the thing at the helicopter. Now, listen, that gives me some beautiful feelings inside that the indigenous people of Peru are standing up for their rights. But I also get scared because even when they're standing up for their rights, people die. People get killed. We saw a lot of people take to the streets. Have we heard of any mass human rights abuses from the Peruvian military and police in the last couple of days that have been a little bit shocking that we can bring to light to let people know, hey, this is going on over there and it's very bad?
Yeah. So far, first of all, the people they're not armed. They are not legally allowed to have guns. But only the police, the military. But you have to bribe the military and the police to own one of these guns in the black market and secretly. But we're not seeing any videos of protesters arming themselves to defend themselves. They're the ones who are essentially the Palestinians versus the Zionist Israeli forces, and this is it's a great comparison, as you said, about the image of the woman with the slingshot and rock to attack the helicopter that's firing down with the live bullets. It's a deadly situation happening in the other parts of Lima. Of course, not in Lima, but they don't use their helicopter and bring out the military vehicles, but they have brought out troops. In La Selva, when before I landed to Lima, I saw troops and police with their riot gears, as they always carry with them. They've been stationed outside of the airport, but in Lima as well, I've seen a few less than over there. And business as usual is in the airport. There's no violence at the Lima airport, but the situation is elsewhere in rural areas because they know that they have a different condition. It's extreme poverty, as I said before, and they're fighting for their lives, of course, and for a better life too. And, for constitution, for free Castillo, because they know that this will be these positive changes for the people will be passed through a left-wing government, and this is, of course, very saddening. I'm very infuriated by the violence. It's been now 22 people dead and hundreds of people injured because the military are ordered to go in the streets and start massacring people. It's essentially a battleground.
Yeah, and Castillo accused the United States for pushing the crackdown on the protesters in his letter. So, I mean, this is again what Pasta said. This is they got their hands. The U.S. has their fingerprints all over this. So we'll be hearing more. And what I also reached out to he was on RT.
Didier Ortiz?
Didier as well, because this is important that people keep talking about this, that people don't let this go on the lowdown. Like Pasta said, there's a lot of focus on Brazil and the election, and we were there, and we saw the election, but there's not really a focus on this. And I think there needs to be as well, because this is how coups happen when there's not there. When the Bolivian coup happened, there wasn't enough of a focus. There was like 3 people covering it, and 2 of those people were Camilla and Ollie. Other than that, like most people weren't covering it. So
Man, we'll
it's
coup who we
important
want
to
to, okay? Just
right. And then we have that guy,
on.
and then we have the lithium and the 4th industrial revolution, which is like the next thing. That you mentioned, the lithium triangle. These minerals are going to be extremely important for the 4th industrial revolution. We've been talking about this for a long time, but actually now people are talking about it, and Narendra Modi actually came out and said he wants to put India on the map for the 4th industrial revolution. And what we're talking about is the mining of these minerals to pretty much make the West be green, at the expense, of course, of Africans and Latin Americans. That's pretty much what is that sector. So Peru really has to protect itself from that. Otherwise, a country that has such rich, beautiful resources, they're going to continue to go outside of the country, which is exactly why I think Castillo is out, because he was a threat to that. So Paulo, anything else that you want to say before you head out? Anything you want to plug in? Anywhere you're going to be going in the next few days?
I will be conducting an interview with a congresswoman from Peru Libre to get her
Nice.
points of view. And this is very important to get at least a congressperson there. And this is a dangerous situation in all parts of Peru. But I'm staying safe. And this is I know that there are some Peruvian comrades from the U.S. that are actually flying to Peru to start covering it too, because there's not a lot of coverage. So I'm deeply grateful for the Contra Couch, Calsarcha News, the Breakthrough News, and other international media outlets that are covering it in English, because it's the barrier here is in speaking Spanish and translating in English. We need a more international audience to see that this is a U.S. influenced coup against Castillo.
I have a question for you, because it's kind of, and I've been saying this right now. There's a big anti-communist mentality or rhetoric out there, narrative in Brazil, right? They're trying to say that Lula's communist. It's kind of funny. We had a friend, Danny Shaw, on the show. It's like, dude, like Lula's like a center leftist, goddamn. Like he's far from being a communist. In fact, the biggest complaint is the people he's picked for his cabinets have ties to Wall Street and banking, and like now the banks are supporting him. He's got ties to some of the WEF and whatnot. In other words, he might be the best leader for Brazil right now, but he's definitely not a communist. But still, when you listen to the Bannonites and the Alex Jones, and this is big because they have huge audiences, especially they represent most of the populist right. They're saying that this is a communist movement and they have to stop communism. I'm always afraid of that, Paulo, because I think it's the most divisive thing out there. I think the anti-communist versus the anti-capitalist movement is about our neighbors, our citizens, pointing fingers at each other rather than looking up. Do you think that the anti-communist movement is all about being divisive within the citizens, or is there something more to it? Since you've experienced it with your own family, I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Well, the mainstream media in Peru is the one that promotes that the protesters are vandals, terrorists, and communists. And this essentially is the mechanism to brainwash the population. For my family, it's been generations like that. I even have an uncle that was a part of the police intelligence in Peru at the time of the Sendero Luminoso's activity. And this is, it's me being the very left-wing person out of the family, the only person voting for Pedro Castillo, and he had the majority of the Peruvians got him elected, but all of them were Keiko Fujimori supporters at the time, even though they understand that she was corrupt. at this point right now, they understand that the Congress is corrupt, but they wanted Castillo out of the office because they use the disparagement of communism and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Seems like
No,
it's the
that's so
biggest
true.
method, right, fam?
Yeah, it seems like it's the most divisive one. I mean, it's the same thing with Lula. Like he's corrupt, he's corrupt, he's corrupt. That they just say he's corrupt, even though the charges were dropped. I mean,
Yeah.
he
They never
was
mentioned
found.
that. They never mentioned that the State Department colluded with fucking I believe that was Fujimori, not Fujimori.
Fujimori.
Yeah, I get them mixed up. But once again,
It's Fujimori. Yeah.
a judge inside of Brazil was literally communicating with the State Department on how they can put Lula in jail. And even though they got all those information that's out there, we're in Brazil. He's corrupt. He's corrupt. And now you have populist right networks going, Lula charged 19 fucking blah, 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 this many years. This judge that he appointed just magically let him out, guys, so he could run. It's like you're not telling the whole story. You're purposely manipulating, leaving stuff out. And they've been doing this. They were so vague on the accusations for the election that they can't tell us specifically. And none of them will have me on their show. None of them will come on my show, and I've invited them. It's really sad because they're really trying to push a color revolution from the populist right side. And how is that any different than the CIA doing it? You're pitting the people against each other, so therefore you can have more dictators rule. Paulo, let everybody know where they can find you, or we can find any more information up to date to the hour of what's going on in Peru.
Yes, well, thank you so much. My personal accounts on social media, on Twitter and Instagram for politics. Twitter is my name without the space, so Paulo Cruzalegi. And on my Instagram is with the period in between, so paulo.cruzalegi. On my other pages, I contribute to Los Maderas de las Redes, and this is a collective of Peruvians in the U.S. diaspora, Peruvians diaspora there in the United States. We have some members in Miami, New York City, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, different parts in the U.S. And I'm the one who's near L.A. area to organize some other Peruvians, because there are other chapters like Peru Libre and Nuevo Peru that have been organizing during the election time in 2021 for Castillo. And so the Los Maderas de las Redes one is on Instagram is with the dots in los.ronderos.de.
I put it in the chat.
Yes, good. And my the other one on Twitter is Ronderos Redes. So
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and follow those because that's important to know. I didn't even know that until you just told me today. So thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with that interview of the Congresswoman. I'd like to hear what she says. Good job on getting that.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch with you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, and let us know any pictures, any video you take out there. Pass it on our way. We're going to be paying close attention to this. I even told fam maybe we have to make a little detour and stop in Peru to see what's going on. Paulo, everybody, thank you so much, guys. Combo Couch here. We'll see you soon, Paulo.
All right. Thank you so much.
You got it. There's Paulo hanging on out. Fam, great guest. I did find a way to finagle and fugazi some stuff. It seems like I don't know if Google's come on and like just poisoned my my doc on my side, but I found a way to do some stuff. And what we'll do is I'll just let Joe know that we'll circle the wagons. He can cut this up, the interview in between, and get back over there. But I was able to get this up, fam, and I want to make sure that we can show this because this is important. Going back to it right here. This is the poll, right? Right. This is what we talked about. Should I step down as head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of the poll. Almost 58% fam said yes, and 42.5% no. I think that he knew the results were going to be this way. There's 17.5 million votes. Fam, I want to show you some of this stuff. What he said. Now, here's Robert F. Kennedy. No, don't step down. And somebody telling him, your father and uncle would be ashamed of you. He literally like, dude, and that's the thing. I've loved a lot of the stuff Robert Kennedy's been talking about when it's come to COVID.
Yeah, of course.
When it's come to this situation, when it's come to him talking about his nephew in going to fight the war, it's terrible. Stand up for free speech. The First Amendment needs you, is what Robert Kennedy's saying to Elon. And I get it. You've been suppressed. You've been shut down. You didn't have your thing. Elon comes along, he reinstates your Twitter, whatnot. Now he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Selective free speech isn't free speech. Your father taught us that. Wow. So you can see some of the comments. So, fam, there's a lot of people. And here's another one. I put this up because I couldn't go to the page, fam. But let me show you this one here because this is what you were talking about, fam. Let's show this real quick because this is interesting, fam. I want to know your opinions on this one. This is Kim.com. And this is the stuff, fam. Boom. Okay. I'm hoping that Elon did this poll as a honeypot to catch all the deep state bots. The data set for the poll will contain most of them. Some good data mining, and he could kill them all in one go. I mean, it's the praising and the shit like this. Oh, he's doing this for that. Oh, he's doing. Dude, he's playing us. He's not playing the deep state. He's playing us. That's why he showed up.
Can you find the other one?
Team.com one. I will try to find it right now.
Yeah, it was the one. He shouldn't have made this poll. Like, it's just, to me, it's ridiculous because it's like, I would think you would be smart enough to know I just don't think he's not smart enough to know this. I don't know, because it's just really weird to me that this is like, that you are this smart hacker and you think that you should know his connections is what I'm saying. I'm like, so like, why would you say this? This is like, this is either he's part of the act and he's playing his role. You know what I mean? Like, by saying this sort of thing to Elon, because why is Elon reaching out to certain people? Like, why is he reaching out to him? Like, why is he reaching out? It's just so weird. The way the whole Twitter files has been revealed. It's what they want you to know, what you are allowed to know. And also, again, I have to go back to the state affiliated media stuff. Like, none of that is being addressed. The shadow, I have been more shadow banned since Elon Musk took hold. 100%. There's no way. Like, I have lost, like, it's not just the bots. Like, I don't get seen, I don't get searched. It's been worse. And I've been critical of him, but I haven't been like, like other people, like trolling him in any way. So it's just, to me, I definitely think that he does the same thing, but for the other side. Like, and I'm not a liberal. Like, I'm not like, these liberals are all mad because they're journalists who from the WAPO who never cared about free speech are suddenly crying about free speech. I think it's, hypocritical. But I don't think they should be banned. And a lot of them are banned for saying something mean to Elon. Like, it's not even anything serious, right? It's like, it's nothing. There was that whole story that somebody almost got like attacked because they thought Elon was in that car. It was his son or something. I don't freaking know. But if you're okay, like, taking down accounts for quote unquote doxing, then where were you when everybody else every day is doxed just because it's Elon? It's just like, there's so much hypocrisy from both sides on this. And it's irritating to watch. It's just so irritating to me. Yeah, I don't know if you can find it, but if I find it, I'll post it.
What does it say pretty much?
You know what? Actually, I replied to it, so maybe it'll come up.
Why is it not coming up?
Oh, here it is.
I can share it with you. Know how to get it up there? You want me to...
Yeah. I'll put it on here.
In the doc.
Yeah, I'll put it in the doc right now. It's at the bottom after Elon. After the first Kim.com one. There it is. It's just so.
The second one, then.
Yeah, the second King.com one. It's so obnoxious because really, what are we talking about here? We're talking about things we sort of already knew. Instead of like focusing on really what's happening. What aren't we talking about is the question you have to ask yourself. What are we not talking about? Because everybody's talking about, and every day it's like the Twitter files, number 8, the Twitter file. I just feel like it's more of a social experiment to data mine. I agree with him on that. There is some data mining going on in this, who likes Elon? What do they think? It seemed to me like a social experiment. There's so much data to cultivate. And they already told us, by the way, that your messages aren't safe. Like your Twitter messages. Don't ever put, by the way, in case you don't know, don't put anything that you don't want people to see on your Twitter DMs because they're not safe at all. Like they have complete access to them, like the security state does. So if we knew that the security state did, like, how would you not think they have access to Twitter in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there's the thing. So he said, hey, Elon Musk, it's unwise to run a poll like this when you are now deep state enemy number one. They have the biggest bot army on Twitter. They have 100K analysts with 30 to 40 accounts all voting against you. Let's clean up and run this poll again. The majority has faith in you. And it could be true that they have, I mean, we know that there's been operatives on Twitter for a while, right? These Sally, whatever her name was, they have these bot farms, and the bot farms are real. The bot farms exist. But the problem I have with this statement is, how is Elon Musk deep state enemy number one? It's the same way that people said Donald Trump was like the deep state enemy. It's actually worse, to be honest, because Elon Musk has made more money from the defense industry than Trump. So it's even worse to think he's like the deep state. And it's just, it cheapens the actual criticism. When people talk about the deep state in this way, it just makes it like a joke. And it's like, no, this is real shit. But Elon Musk is a part of this. Like, he's not opposed to it. He's a part of it. He's not a threat, guys. The whole Epstein. Oh, is he going to get Epsteined? No, he's not going to get Epstein. You're muted.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
No, I wasn't. I was just trying to pull up the other thing too, because so we had the whole situation where everybody's, oh my God, Elon, and then a lot of people showing him with Kushner, and he's with Kushner. Maxine Waters has Kushner on there as one of the Russian army of Donald Trump. She still has that up, Julian Assange. Elon Musk is posing for a selfie with top Russian state propagandists, fam. Nadia Askerzadeh in Qatar. She's a girlfriend of sanctioned Putin's private banker, Andrei Kostin. Private banker, fam. Putin's private banker. So they tried to spin this whatsoever. And there he is with her.
This woman.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like they're going to try to spin this thing any way they can. And
yeah.
I mean, we have a bunch of fucking people falling for all this bullshit. It's sad sometimes.
No, yeah. And the thing is, even media has covered it like, oh, this, does this mean like we're gonna have some justice? Is Biden really gonna be investigated? Is the FBI gonna launch an investigation? Or our House Republicans really gonna launch an investigation into the FBI, like to see what went on during Twitter and how they manipulated the election? They're not talking about the way the election was actually manipulated, though. They're never going to talk about the way the election was manipulated. You're not going to see ballot harvesting and ballot dumps on these Twitter files. You're just not going to see it, because it just doesn't play to their narrative, because election malfeasance
that's a good word.
Happens on both ends of the story of the aisle.
It certainly does. And fam, right here's another one too as well. They're still playing both sides. Never let a good opportunity slip away when you have a chance to really dupe the people and play team sports. The Twitter files, how the FBI primed execs for Russian disinformation ahead of the Hunter Biden bombshell. It's almost like everything they're setting up that Elon's a part of, right? This social conditioning of sort is all ready for when the Republicans get back in. Now they got the House, and when Trump comes in, that they can do extra authoritarian fucking practices and measures and other things they can do, because we see how they were the victim. And now when the victim is fighting back, you simply look at it as a victim just defending himself and fighting back. And you've pointed this out. You've seen a lot of people kind of smirk and laugh At the same thing that they were angry about. Oh, we're against censorship. No, they just didn't care. They didn't like who was being censored. So that's why Elon Musk is playing this part of all like, oh, these Republicans were being censored. These Republicans were under attack. Now all these conservatives, it was all the Donald Trump people. Now you have a right to go back and do this to these people over here since they did it to you. And it just seems that way. And you saw it said like, the disinformation of Hunter Biden now. It's just, I don't know, fam.
Yeah.
It just seems crazy.
It's all bullshit. And did you see what I posted? I posted that the combo couch could get Twitter blue and I couldn't. And it's like the same, like obviously we have access to the same thing. And I have another account, same source, and they could get Twitter blue, but I couldn't. So it's like, why am I not allowed to get Twitter blue if I wanted to get Twitter blue? Like, I'm not allowed to get it. Like, it won't let me. It's the weirdest thing. And then when I said that, I put it on Twitter. The next thing you know, the combo couch, it's not appearing on there anymore. So it's just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that is. It's just so weird because I've been trying to do these like experiments to see like, why are some people, allowed to get it? And he basically said like, if you don't get Twitter blue, you're going to be shadow banned, but I'm shadow banned anyway. So it doesn't really matter. It's just so stupid. It's like it's still controlling the narrative. And like I said, other people might have gone unbanned, but I have been more shadow banned since
Scott Ritter's not back. Scott Ritter's not back. Here's Elon Musk with Erdogan, fam, your favorite Middle Eastern leader. Right there. So, I mean, I'm just going to show everything that was there. Obviously, Erdogan was there. There's a translator and stuff. But I know people are just, hey, look at this and whatnot. And just want to make sure I show everything, all sides, what's going on over there. But that was with Erdogan. And he was there with Kushner. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you guys don't see the professional wrestlings with him hanging out with Jared Kushner, the last picture from Ye, like I said, was a picture of Ari Emanuel hitting him in the back of the head with a hose playing around. So now he's hanging out with the Obama fams. He's hanging out with the Trump fams. Come on, guys. You cannot be duped for this shit. If there was really some stuff going on and he really did want to get confidence back in the people and trust back in the people, he would show us everything. Just show us everything. Not selective red meat that he's showing.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. This is not, come on. Julian Assange. That's what you should be. You know what I'm saying? There's actually links with Julian. Link.
Yeah, WikiLeaks showed direct source material. This is showing screenshots and like it's more hyped up than anything else. It's stuff we already knew. It's not, and we're not getting all of it. We're getting what we're allowed to see, and that's that. And yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Fam, we're going to do this last section, ladies and gentlemen, really quickly. Guys, I can't pull up the article for the international health regulations. And anyways, I'm going to try to get Goose on maybe for Wednesday. There's a lot of other people I have in the queue. I've been talking to Whitney Webb, supposed to come back on soon. So we're going to see what's going on. So unfortunately, I can't pull the videos up for the international health regulations. It looks like the last one, though, about this new information. And guys, we're going to get off YouTube now. So guys, let's do us a favor. Get that link from that Rumble and get it into the doc. We're going to do a little part
in the chat, you mean?
What's that? In the chat.
Get the link in the chat, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link for the Rumble in the YouTube chat right now. We're going to talk about the fact that they knew that early treatment on COVID-19 worked, and they still suppressed that information. This is nothing that we didn't already know. The one time I did get spanked on Twitter, like, it happened twice. It was for mentioning Dr. McCullough's videos or showing stuff on Ivor that I'm not going to even say on YouTube because YouTube is not Twitter. We're not getting freedom of speech back on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's gotten worse. They took down Poikinen's channel the other day, Slow News Day. He hasn't posted anything there in months. They took it down anyways. No rhyme or no reason. So, I mean, that's still going on. Susan Wojcicki's still over there. So we're going to leave YouTube in T-minus 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where's that? Let me see that. I can't get it. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Trying to take this down really quickly. Weird.
So your internet's not working, or what's going on? Why can't
It's
you
not
pull up?
working properly. It's just fucking stupid